Okay, next thing I'm going to do is the square tube on the aft side, and then we'll do the forward square tube. So we'll do this one, and this one's going to be called P3. So again, we go to the tool, right click, insert product, properties, reference, okay. No, what am I doing? I can't believe I just did this. So, yes, that's the part, but this would be part number 3. It's not a big deal. Just kind of forgot here. Properties, instance 3. This would be 102, because they all have to have a different number stamped on them. This 1. The 100 is the assembly itself, and then each part would have to have a different number. So in theory, if I'm doing what I'm doing, the 101 is the top plate. They stamp 101 on the top, 102 they stamp on the bottom, 103 they're going to stamp on the square tube over here. Okay, and that's how you identify the different part numbers. So that's why we have this 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, and so on. Okay. Now, this one here, insert part, just like I've done before. Properties. This one's 103. Instance. This is the aft. Square tube. Okay. So 103. This got to be changed. That's supposed to be 102. Just one up the list here. Okay. So from the RLM. We're building that square tube right there. Okay, so the tube, that's these two tubes. We're going to build this one over here on the left. So therefore we need, from the RLM, the surface that touches this, the surface that touches that wall, the surface that touches this wall, surface that touches this face, and this face over here. So that's the left buttock line, the right buttock line, And then we've got to grab the planes that represent the thickness of the T and this thickness here. Okay. So again, what I like to do right away is so I don't accidentally grab anything I didn't mean to. And when we're done releasing the part anyways, all this stuff is supposed to be in hide. The external references are supposed to be in hide. The geometrical set would be in hide. Okay. And then we would come back to the RLM. We have to double click it to remember to be back in the RLM. And we're going to take half thickness, left and right buttock lines, so that's this surface and the surface on the other end, and half thick one is this one, and then I need this one up here, which is station, forward station here, or the aft station, sorry. Aft thickness, aft station. I need the two thicknesses, waterline thicknesses for the beams from the bottom and the top. So that thickness here, this thickness here, this thickness here, this thickness here, that's 3. And then this one here, 4, and then 5. Oh, and then this one here. Okay? I don't really need that one, but we'll use it as reference. Copy that. Okay, and then double click on this, hourglass changes. Right click, paste special. Did I do that right? Double click on this to make sure I'm in it. It should say part design. All the aft stuff. Thickness. Waterline thicknesses. So 6 of them all together. Copy. Okay, I must have a double clicked on that right. So make sure you're double clicking on this to get into that part. And just going to double check this copy. How do I tell I don't want to copy? Try that again. Grab all these elements. Copy those. Double click on this to get to the hourglass and paste. There's all my external references. Okay. I forgot one. I want this buttock one. That's the one right in the middle. buttock line without an R or L. It tells you right in the middle. I want to do that same thing that we did in the I-beam. I want to create my cross beam and go either directions, right? So, forgot to do that one. Copy. Up. You got to make sure you double click on this 3D. There. Make sure you see the hourglass pop up so you know you're in there. And then right click, copy. Okay, it should add it to this list when I double click. Paste. Oh god, did I do that last time? I don't know if I did. There's my buttock line. Okay. This buttock line is fine. These water lines from the thickness are fine. This station is not going to be enough to go over. Okay. So, how wide is that? We got the station at 1125. App thickness. I don't remember what thickness I had. Okay, I'm gonna just for now in my geometrical set. We're gonna create a plane. I'm gonna double click the plane. This one here is gonna represent the actual width of the C channel. So 1 inch for now. Because I don't know how big of a channel I need. I'm gonna say okay. So in that plane 8 is going to be the C channel outside periphery here. And I'm just going to create a box. That's all I'm going to do. Okay. Got that plane, that plane. Oh, that's all I need. So I'll cancel that. We'll rename this. So that's your square tube periphery. And we're going to rename the geometrical set the same. I'll just copy that, paste that over here. What? I put that up there. Dang it. How do I always manage to do that? So I've renamed these elements, and really I should copy these all 0, but I imagine a lot of people could actually just use these as external references. So I'm going to go to my buttock line, create a sketch. Select OK. That after. What? Oh, you know what? That's crazy. Did we done this name yet? I'm going to go to my ISO view, which at this point, you may actually work more on your ISO view than you do on your Just going to 2D. Looks like I did get the wrong side. This X. It should be. The plane should be on that side. I feel like it's not. I feel like I must have renamed or named that wrong when I was doing it. Yeah, I sure did. That is the forward one. Well, I think I'm going to double click on this to get into that. Right click, copy. Dang it, I must have, so in the video I've got this backwards. If you did it the same way I did, you may have done it backwards too. So I'm going to double click here and paste special. Yeah, sure looks like I did. My forward is the aft, and my aft is the forward. Alright, so I'm going to finish with this demo here. And again, I'm going to come back to this buttock line 0 and sketch. And then I'm going to pop it to my ISO view just so I can see better what's going on here. Under the sketch function, we're going to do that intersection again, but we're going to grab the plane that represents this surface, which I've misnamed, and this surface, and this plane here. Okay. So again, it's nice to have them all up in here. I'm going to try and do this without doing that. Let's go. These are my two thickness ones, this one here and this one here. So you can see that one represents the thickness from the bottom up. I'll use the control button just to slowly grab these so you can see which ones I'm grabbing. There's that one. I want this one here. That's, oh, dang, I forgot to use the control button. So, control button for the two thicknesses, back. And then we want the one that represents this face over here, which I accidentally called forward and it's supposed to be aft. Okay. And then we're going to intersect that to that buttock line 0. So here's your buttock line 0. Select OK. And now I have the square tube. Okay. So right away, I'm just going to trim these lines up. Looks like I missed. I just want to make sure I still have 4 lines. Okay, sometimes you break things and you break it in 2 without realizing it, but I do have still 4 lines. Let's go back to sketch and trim. Trim. From this line to this one. This line, this one. Looks like I missed it. See, I missed the trim. I didn't quite get that. That's why it has that open. Okay. So I'll go back to sketch and see if I can't trim that up again. So this line. And now when I analyze it, we got closed. Oh, so I did miss something. So you want to double check to make sure you're getting them right. And unfortunately, sometimes it's really easy to see what happened. Oh, it is easy. See that blue line up there? I missed when I trimmed. That's why some people prefer the quick trim. Sometimes it doesn't seem easy. Whoops. I just deleted that. I'm hit undo to put that back. I'm going to do a quick trim and just grab that top line, and it should find the intersections. Okay, that plane right in the way there is kind of overlapping, so it looks like the yellow lines are not touching. But when I analyze this, it should be a closed profile, and it is constrained, so we're going to be good to go. Oh, under constrained. Well, I don't know why we're under constrained. I'm going to try another trick though while I'm here. I'm going to go to Sketch, Corner, highlight all of this. Didn't work out so good. I'm going to just hit corner to turn that off. Sometimes it's easier to go back to view and not be in the ISO view, and then hit just normal to view to get it flat to the screen. So when I go back to Sketch to do my corner, I can create a rectangular box that just goes right around everything. And I believe that radius was 1/4 inch. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is just put a temporary constraint. It's going to tell me it's over constrained. But see, the number came out at 2.1875. It's kind of a weird number to work with for the shop, and probably going to be weird to find that size of a square tube. So I'm guessing if I create a or go look up in the list for square tubes, I'm probably not going to find one of those, but I bet you there'll be a 2-inch one. So what can I do to fix this situation? Exit out of the sketch. That square tube was a 1-inch offset from this one here. I could just subtract minus 0.1875 and hit tab, and it says, okay, that's the number it's going to be. So I say okay. When I go back into the sketch, oh, I totally missed that number. I thought I said point. Okay. So I need to be. See if I can hit undo. Click. Let's bring that back to me. Okay, let me go back to that sketch. We'll double click on the sketch. 2.185. Right tab. I'm going to subtract 0.185. So I double click on it, and at the end of that, I change the inches to minus 0.185. I might have done 1.875, just out of force of habit, which I think is 3/16. I'll say OK, and it should change that automatically. Let's double check the sketch and see. Now it's a perfect 2-inch square tube. So that'd probably be a lot easier for me to find out of the shop or out of a catalog. Okay. I got it crooked, so I just hit normal and it flattens it back up. And I'm going to click on this, right click. Auto search to grab that entire profile. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this offset. Under offset, I'm just going to go in, 1/8 of an inch. So for the offset, make sure your box is on the inside here. And I'll change the offset to 1/8 of an inch. And now it has an 1/8 of an inch tube. So when I exit out, I have that square tube, and I'm going to extrude it just like I did with the I-beam. So in order to do that, what I want is the planes from RLM that would represent left and right, which would be these two here. I forgot about bringing those over. Luckily, it's not a big deal. If I double click on that, you should have saw the hourglass come up where I can right click on these and copy them. Slide down here, find my square tube and double click on that, and right click paste special, and it should add those down here. So you have your right product line and your left product line. But you know what? I probably want to work just a bit, make the tube just a bit longer than the actual part. Okay, so with the square tube geometry as the in-work object, you can double click the plane, and from this right buttock line, we'll just go over a little bit by a quarter inch or so, and then the LBL, we want to just reverse the direction, click OK, and now we have those two planes. And at this point, I would advise renaming those right away so you don't forget what's what. Oh, sketch 2 belongs in the part body. Just move it over there like I never made that mistake. Go to Properties, and that plane is RBL channel. That way it makes it a little easier. They're not all being named the same thing. Properties, LBL channel. Okay. Now that I have that with the part body active and that sketch, I can simply go to Pad, up to Plane, and choose RBL, because the arrow's going this direction, so I want to go over to this one, and then the opposite direction, up to Plane, to pick the LBL, which is that plane over there. Again, you can pick it off the screen or off of the tree, whatever's easiest for you. Select OK, and there's my square tube. Makes it a little hard to tell what I got going on, so what I'll do, I click Properties, Graphic, change that color, let's try some. Okay, and there's that piece in there. So you can try out the other channel on the other side and see if you get the picture on how to do that. This is what my tree looks like right now. It's getting bigger and bigger. Part 1, 2, 3, and then part number 4 will be the other channel on this side. I'll do that in the next video in case you need help.